Welcome back to more TwoSun Tuesday, and we have a beast of a knife here. This, despite its number, is quite a recent release. This is a Tepe Design, and this is a massive Tanto here. American style Tanto, in case that's something that you wish to have specified there. There you definitely go. This is very much like that cold steel American style Tanto going on there. This is a Tepe Design. It's in D2 steel. This one is production number 95. That Tepe seems to have more of their knives numbered or serialized than other makers. So it seems to show up on a lot more of them. As you can see, this is a button lock here. Fling this out. This guy is pretty big. We have a 3.6-inch blade, so, not, ridiculously long, but still very tall, and starts out at a 3.9 millimeter blade stock thickness. But as you can see, it kind of distally tapers down towards the front there to probably keep just a little bit of that weight out there. Of course, we still have some flats there that don't, but because you have that little swedge there, I suppose it looks a little bit more like a distal taper than it would otherwise. So, this was made a little bit after some of the other button locks that were made from TwoSun, but this one does not use the multi-row ceramic bearings that some of the other ones do. So this just has a single row. Hey, it still swings in the breeze with the best of them, and I don't really feel the bearing cages moving or anything like that when I'm swinging this guy back and forth like I do on some others. Some other Civivi knives and stuff like that definitely come to mind recently because I had just taken a look at them. But yeah, so there are a couple of negatives that I do kind of want to go over here. One of which is this pocket clip. It's kind of got a stop sign kind of look to it, but it is only anchored in one area here into Micarta, and you can see up there that, yeah, this guy is going to end up wearing itself into a bit of a tail wag situation, if you will, with the pocket clip getting loose there. The design of the pocket clip, though, really great. I do like the ramp of it and everything like that. Yeah, I do have a couple of thoughts on maybe trying to fix something if something ends up messed up on those things. Somebody had suggested trying some CA glue or super glue or something like that, cyanoacrylate. And that'd probably work. My thought was probably trying like a I don't know, epoxy of some sort, the type that you have the standard piece and the activator for it or something like that, just to really try to cement that in there and see if that works for some of that lateral movement. And the other thing is this guy, the heel of it actually came up quite a bit and gave me quite a bit of what I end up calling the snaggletooth, or where the blade is pretty close to the back end of the spine there. It was just basically at the tip, and you can see I've basically changed that a little bit, so this guy ends up curving back inward a little bit rather than just having that following that line, so that blade isn't quite out as far. Maybe not the perfect look to it. If I really wanted to, I could just basically grind all of that edge flat and then resharpen it. But I think this was much less wasteful. Yeah, still cuts absolutely the same. And then I don't have to worry about it cutting me when the darn thing's closed. We have an amazing sharpening choil on this guy. So yeah, you can sharpen this guy forever. Absolutely no problems there. We got a decent plunge grind that's not super gradual there as well. So yeah, all sorts of good stuff going on there. We have a little bit of a flat part here that the blade sits flush with. So if you do want to really choke up there, especially with that choil extending it out a little bit, you have a whole bunch of power and controllability if you're doing some woodwork or something like that. That would probably help out quite a bit. But behind there, we have the handle thins out a whole bunch. So you have a really nice area for you to really have your index finger lock in there. And because this swells out so much here, it ends up really filling the hand. So it works out super, super great. But it might feel, and this is kind of strange for Tepe Designs, this might feel a little bit large to you if you have normal to smaller sized hands, because this really does have a whole bunch going on the back end of it. We got that same button lock, same kind that they do with their other titanium ones. So we have that flattened area here, and this kind of volcanoes up just a little bit to it. So it's not recessed or anything like that, but it does take quite a bit of travel before the blade actually lets go. So I don't really feel any less safe for having that thing out there unrecessed like some other companies will do. But, you know, that's just kind of a personal preference thing. If you're used to some companies that do those recessed, or if you are worried about if you're doing a pinch grip a little bit further up or something like that, then, yeah, I suppose you really got to try. Yeah, I can't even get it to do that with the pad of my finger. I would have to use the tip of it. So yeah, I don't really have any problems with that whatsoever. So for the most part, I really, really like this design. I do wish, and maybe they will do that or something like that, kind of do a little bit different thing here on this pocket clip. Let's see if I can't find an example recently of one that has circumvented that. Aha, here we are. This is a TS175. It's a Wong design here. I will take a look at this at some point in the future. But this one, as you notice, is mounted into micarta. However, you can notice that this thing is a little bit wider. And we do have a screw going in there. It goes through the micarta. It is inset into the micarta, but it goes through there. But there's also a screw on the inside having a second mount point here. So it's mounted in two different poles into the titanium underneath it. And looking at this, it seems like that wouldn't be very, very difficult for an up version of it to just basically take that same kind of thing into consideration there and just extend that out a little bit, or push the pocket clip up a little bit, either way. And, you know, add just a second lash point. And if you only want that one screw on there, then this situation ends up working out pretty well. But, yeah, if you really do like that bold and brash American-style Tanto kind of thing, that rough and tumble cold steel Recon 1 kind of look to it, this has a lot of that same vibe to it. The micarta is their standard carta, but it has a nice texture to it. It's a little bit more polished than some of their other stuff, but not super shiny all the way around. Sorry if there's noises going around. I have my window open, and my bedroom door keeps opening and closing. Hopefully that doesn't show up on the camera, but I suppose we'll find out together. But, yeah, this thing ends up working out pretty darn well. There's just, like I said, a couple of things that I might want to change about that. I would say I would like to see it with the multi-row bearings, but the way that this finger thing is set up here, and with that blade actually being slightly exposed, very slightly, but slightly exposed there, I don't think they really have the room to be able to add those multi-row bearings. And like I said, hey, we got a thick enough blade, and it'll swing in the breeze with the best of them. So I don't really think it necessarily needs it. I would just kind of like it because, hey, I do like those multi-row bearings. But yeah, this thing overall, pretty darn good. We got a little lanyard hole thing here. I might shake just a little tiny bit. Mine makes a little tiny bit of a rattle sound. I don't really necessarily hear it if I'm wearing it in my pocket, but I will hear it if I'm wiggling it back and forth a little bit there. But yeah, like I said in the past, you can take just a little tiny bit of cotton and poke it into one of those holes, or possibly both of them with like a toothpick or something like that. Put those things back in there. That'll give it something that it won't rattle against the metal on. Works out super great. It's much more of a fix for the Boker Kalashnikov automatics that end up having some of those rattle things. But it will definitely apply to this guy as well. But all right, so that's the main things here. How about if I actually do some size comparisons, because I think I forgot to do that earlier in the process. So there is the Spyderco. Well, apparently I had an alarm set on my phone, and that ended up stopping my recording. So I think I was here at blade size comparisons. So we can go ahead and do that real quick. There's the Spyderco PM2. Sure, we got the Ontario Rat number 1 that you can see is definitely blade length and blade handle fairly similar there. Let's see, and I can do a couple of Benchmads here. We got the 940 and the bug out. And sure, why not? We'll go ahead and do the Spyderco Endura because it's a fairly large knife. So there we are. So, yes, with all of that being said, that concludes the normal portion of the video here. So, I am going to go ahead and take this apart for those of you who do want to see the inside and kind of what's going on there. But for the rest of you, appreciate y'all for stopping by. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's grab my T6 here. I'm going to need to remove this pocket clip here. Shove that Chicago screw out of the way just a little bit to help that. There we go. And then, of course, we got the pivot screw, and, well, the titanium ring came out of there, but that's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and poke that Chicago screw just again here, and yeah, we can see we got on the inside. Very, very flat inside here. Nothing really to really mention as far as any of that stuff goes, except for I completely lied to y'all. This does use the multi-row ceramic bearings. So that means that the one that I was thinking of that didn't have the ceramic bearings in it, or the double row bearings, was another one that I got it mixed up with. So apologies for that. I seem to be... Aha, there we go. Okay. I was going to say, I was missing one of those little guys there. But yeah, if you are familiar at all with button locks, then yeah, this is very much the same that everybody else, well, most everybody else tends to do it. ProTech basically does it about that same way. All the Boker Kalashnikov autos do it that way. And even like Civivi's withstanding the Elementum button lock, which was done differently, and I've covered that in another video if you'd like to see that. But yes, all of these done that same way with that plunger and this little coiled spring here that ends up being captured in there. So, with that being said, how about if we go ahead and try and slap this thing back together? I will try to get the lanyard hole thingy there. Go ahead and put that in there. Take the plunger, obviously not the side that has the cup that holds the spring in there, and kind of throw them in. It's slightly more fiddly than you would get from of an experience than you would end up getting from trying to do a what's the word I'm looking for? Then a frame lock or something like that. But yeah, not bad at all. All right, so here's the big old beefy stop pen here, and I will go ahead and throw that in there. These, it usually does make a little bit more sense to try to do it with that blade closed rather than open. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to deal with all of that rigmarole. Or rigmarole, should I say, because there's no rig in that word. That almost sounded racist. I apologize. Definitely not my intention with that at all. Yeah, this stop pen is just going to be a little jerk Jimmy, though. We gonna get this. Alright, so there's that pivot collar. Make sure that that's actually in place. And make sure that all of this is able to be done. Of course, we have to... There we go. So yeah, this one went together just a little bit more difficult than some of the others. But yeah. We don't have parts flying around the room or anything like that, like you would do from maybe an access lock or something like that, if you're experienced with any of those. Let's try and get that... Yeah, there we go. All sorts of nice and back together. Yep. We're working good. So, cool. All right, there is the inside of this guy here. I do like it quite a bit. Like I said, at the somewhere in the middle of it there, that I do wish that this had a couple of things that might improve it just a little bit overall, like having that secondary lash point here on the pocket clip. This is the TS336. I think I have to cover this again here, but this one is just a little bit more extended, and it has a screw here, and there's also a screw coming in on the internal side. So this thing is mounted into Micarta, and it's absolutely rock solid. And it's probably what TwoSun needs to do if they're going to continue to use Micarta and slap those clips in there. So yeah, something to keep in mind there. But all right, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.